according to the Parliamentary Committee on Trade, Industry and the committee noted that lack of funding to address the issues of access roads, electricity and water had affected plans in the 1,000 acres. This came as it emerged that over 75% of the land located off the Mahimahiu Road had been allocated to 5 international investors involved in production of assorted goods. Now, during a tour of the facility, the committee took issue with the low development progress, mainly in the 100 acres allocated to neighboring countries and the current investors.
We need serious funding where the funding are purely GOK. We are not expecting any donor money here. This is purely GOK, and therefore commitment for funds are inevitable. And we hope that, in fact, now that the cycle for budget is almost over, we requested for this funding. But somehow we have not seen any indication on that particular promise that actually the funding will be provided as requested by the Special Economic Zone.
So in terms of employment, we look at this particular site as being one of those sites that can really help us. Here, Dongokundu in Mombasa and Lamu in Mombasa, and we will visit all those sites because we've just come from a budget policy statement, and in the budget policy statement we are looking to allocate money to these particular facilities, but we would like that money that is allocated, now that we are oversight, to be properly utilized to be able to achieve what it is that the country needs to achieve in terms of employment, in terms of economic growth, because we are saying we don't have money, we are saying that the cost of living is so high, but it can only come down if we are able to bring the costs of doing business down.
The government will ensure prudent use of grants directed to drought risk management. Mundavadi assures European Union member states during the launch of Dryland Climate Action for Community Drought Resilience Project. And the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has assured the European Union member states that every shilling from the European Union grant kitty will be prudently managed as support in the fight against drought in the country. Now, Mudavadi says the government, through relevant players, including the National Drought Management Authority, will ensure the financial support is channeled to the sole purpose to ensure the vulnerable communities cope with impacts of drought and climate change.
Deep and meaningful friendship Kenya enjoys with the European Union, and the drought Kenya has encountered in recent years has greatly affected food security of our communities, especially those living in arid and semi-arid areas. The challenges this situation has caused have awakened us to new realities that are now reference points on what we should do.
We cannot work in isolation. So Kenya needs to work together with the other countries that are hit by the drought and build a structural response that goes beyond the country, that is looking at an integrated response. And we all know that this is not a drought as any other. This is a drought that has been made much worse by climate change.
The additional 13 million euro, that is about 1.7 billion Kenya shillings grant under the Dryland Climate Action for Community Drought Resilience Project, which we are launching today, will significantly enhance the resilience of our communities to drought and other effects of climate change. Drought can be very dehumanizing. It breeds poverty, and there's no dignity in poverty.
Right, that's a wrap for KTN News Desk. I'll be back at 2 p.m. with Africa Speaks on stories that are making headlines across the world. So see you then.
KTN KTN News. Get the whole story. The Kenya Judiciary will host the 3rd Regional Symposium on Greening Judiciaries in Africa on 3rd to 5th April 2023 to discuss the role of judiciaries in mitigating climate change and promoting environmental conservation. The symposium, whose theme is strengthening the role of judiciaries in addressing climate change in Africa, will incorporate the 3rd Chief Justices Forum on Environmental Law and the 3rd General Conference of the Africa Judicial Education Network on Environmental Law. Ajanao. The over 300 delegates include 26 Chief Justices, heads of judicial education institutions, judges, judicial officers, experts, and stakeholders drawn from the African continent and beyond. The symposium will empower and sensitize judiciaries to play their role in delivering green justice that promotes sustainable development and protects the planet, making Kenya the regional hub of judicial and social justice dialogues. For more details, visit www.greenjustice.africa.